struggles to nothing.
What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the tantalizingly taboo Dr. Disaster, and the amount of butthurt that we have seen over the past day or so as a result of this post here from Smash JT over on X has been absolutely breathtaking. As a connoisseur of corporate fanboy tears, seeing people respond to ChatGPT making the main character in Intergalactic beautiful was hilarious. If you aren't familiar with the controversy when Naughty Dog released the trailer for Intergalactic at last year's Game Awards, people immediately noticed that they went out of their way, the developers that is, to make the main character as unappealing as possible in order to pander to the feminists out there. They used this actor here, Tati Gabrielle, who actually, as you can see, is not a bad-looking woman at all when they're not trying to make her look ugly, but they shaved her head and made her look like shit.
She is ugly! She is!
This caused the trailer to get absolutely ripped apart to the point that there is speculation that Naughty Dog is actually working on fixing the PR image of the game in the background and avoiding any exposure at the moment. As we covered the other day, a report claims that this year the game is skipping the Game Awards. They aren't showing a new trailer despite word that development is winding down. You would think that they would want to show off all the work that the developers have done over the past year, and they would be trying to build up hype at this extremely high profile event.
If so powerful you are, why leave?
Well, I suspect that the game is being hidden right now because they are waiting for people to forget about it. They are waiting out those of us who hate it. That is a classic PR move used by companies these days. They don't apologize, they don't fix anything. Nowadays, PR firms will advise companies to just shut the hell up when a controversy breaks out, and that is why this X post is so significant, talking about how damned ugly they made the main character in this game. Just look at the number of views on the post, going on 5 million in a couple days. This just shows what a lightning rod Naughty Dog has allowed themselves to become, and how central this conflict is to how poorly the game will be received when it comes out, because let's be clear, if they don't fix what she looks like, especially considering how much Naughty Dog will have pumped into making this turd, the game is simply DOA, because in general, girls don't want to cosplay as this, and guys don't want to play as it. Naturally, there are some people trying to defend this character in response to Smash's post, but let's just face it.
That's just something ugly people say.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've had a lot of people tell me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel almost every day. I hear from someone who says they didn't believe me when I talked about this phenomenon, but then they noticed that they themselves were unsubbed from the channel. I don't know why it happens, but I hear it a lot, so look into that. I will be making this portion of my video skippable by making it into a chapter on the video timeline, but I do need to keep saying this because the amount of people telling me it happens to them is unbelievable. But anyways, let's look at this post from Smash JT, which has really outraged a bunch of Naughty Dog true believers and simps, and which made a whole lot of the rest of us laugh our asses off. So let's look at the actual content of the post to start things off. He wrote, "I asked ChatGPT to make her beautiful. Holy shit, maybe this is all studios need to start doing if they want sales. And honestly, Yes, the AI-generated image is definitely something that would sell, though I will reiterate what I said before. Take a look at this image again of Tati Gabrielle, the actor who plays the main character in Intergalactic. She's a nice-looking person if they aren't trying to make her look ugly. The fact that an AI program, though, is able to throw something like that together in moments is exactly why so many of these developers in the industry are so freaked out about AI in the first place. Not because it is morally evil or anything like that, but because it is a genuine threat to their livelihood. And keep in mind that that isn't me defending AI as a practice. I much prefer handmade content, though I do recognize that AI is a useful tool which I personally use every day. There's a lot of nuance there when it comes to AI, at least in my view. But these developers are pissy with AI because now gamers can circumvent them and get what they refused to provide us. Imagine a scenario, if you will, where everyone in an old village really loved milk from cows, but a couple of guys who happen to control the flow of food into that village, well, they really like goat milk instead, and they want everyone else to love it too. So they intentionally cut off the classic milk that everyone loves, and they force everyone to drink goat milk instead. People complain about it, but they said, tough shit to the masses. You have to drink what we give you because we're the only game in town. Well, after a while, an alternative provider starts bringing in the milk that people actually liked, and the idiots who refused to give the people what they wanted suddenly had a chill running down their spine as they realized that the people they had been trying to push their crap onto, well, a lot of those customers will never come back even if they clean things up. That is the sort of thing that we are seeing with AI. Like I said, I'm not making moral judgments on it. This is just an observation. A lot of studios today feel threatened by AI because they know it will damage them. But you know who isn't whining about it? A studio like Larian or FromSoft. But that's enough of this tangent. Getting back to this Intergalactic post, a lot of people were really pissy about what Smash JT was saying. This guy here wrote,
"The image on the right is bland and generic. The left is interesting and memorable."
And now let's take a look at these pictures again and ask yourself, which one of these looks bland and uninteresting? Which one is a character that you think gals will want to cosplay as? You have to have a very specific ideology guiding your thoughts to believe that the original image on the left is more memorable. And if we go back to this guy's post, you can see that Smash JT points out that yes, indeed, this guy's profile does include his pronouns. So it is safe to disregard the taste of someone like that on a subject like this. But then this person here wrote,
"The average gamer is 41 years old. They don't need an underwear model to be the lead protagonist. Our industry will never be respected like the other mediums if we don't take it seriously in its ability to communicate a story. Please grow up. You're making our culture worse."
First of all, I want to ask, what in the bloody hell does the average age of a gamer have to do with anything else that this guy is talking about in his reply? Is the assertion that since gamers are old enough to have played the games from 20 or 30 years ago, like Tomb Raider or Perfect Dark, where the characters didn't look awful, that suddenly we've leveled up because we are 40 plus years old and now we want something different? And to be clear, I would have no problem with Tati Gabrielle in general as the character for this game if they didn't make her look intentionally like a gangbanger or something. And as for the dude's next point, my guy, stop trying to do the "this is a serious piece of art" nonsense in gaming. And look, it's fine if someone wants to tell a certain kind of story, a serious kind of story, but gaming is not the movies. And in fact, we don't want it to turn into the movies. Movies these days have turned into shit as well, because they've forgotten that a significant chunk of the appeal of films is the simple fun that we used to have with movies. The authenticity is what made it fun. Nowadays, movies take themselves too seriously. The makers of them act as though they need to, first and foremost, behave like a vehicle for social progress, and it makes them lame and detested. Games need to be less like the movies, less concerned with being taken seriously by critics and worrying about awards and that sort of thing, and more about simply existing to delight the people who partake in the hobby. I fundamentally disagree with everything that this guy said, right down to the core of it, and it looks like the majority of people who watched the Intergalactic trailer last year agree with my thinking. Look at this trailer again. They hit 3.1 million views on it, and the ratio was 118,000 likes to 303,000 dislikes. The people are sick of this ugly female character shit. We don't want to be preached at. It might irritate the ever-living hell out of the feminist, progressive, shit-lib types out there that people don't want to see manly-looking women in traditionally masculine roles, but that is simply the truth. And that is what this post from Smash symbolizes. If you want to pull this off, where a woman is acting in a traditionally male role, then the best way is to make her look like Lara Croft or something. That will sell. Or at the very least, go with Ripley in the first couple of Alien movies. She looked pretty good in that. People liked that. It worked. That is what people want. It doesn't matter if that is realistic enough for the sensibilities of the feminists. It doesn't matter if people like that that is the fact. What matters is that it is the truth, and this post going viral is precisely why Naughty Dog seems to be keeping this game out of the limelight right now. It goes to show that the artwork for their main character is still central to what people think about this game, and the overall sentiment toward her, which caused the ratio on that trailer, is extremely bad even now. We haven't forgotten how much we hate this character design. This PR attempt of theirs has not worked at Naughty Dog, and frankly, I ultimately don't believe it will work at all. But I'm gonna leave it there. People are still well aware of the ugliness of this character in Intergalactic. What do you think Naughty Dog needs to do to get this game to the point that it will sell well? Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.